Hello, everyone. Good evening. How's it?
Good evening, Rav. How are you?
Baruch Hashem. And you, Louis, how you doing?
All right, thank
How's
you.
everyone?
Huh?
Good, good,
And
good.
Chag Sameach.
Evening with you. Chag Sameach, Chag Sameach.
No,
How's everyone? Everyone well?
everybody, thank Baruch Hashem, everybody's fine.
Baruch Hashem.
That's-
Good. I'm so happy
That's
to
the main
hear.
thing. That's the main thing.
Baruch Hashem, I'm happy to hear that we made a special show because tonight is Tu Bishvat. We just wait another 1 or 2 more seconds.
Okay, no problem.
Just other people to join us. Sorry, I'm just organizing here something for me while I'm doing the show so I can see everything. What's happening otherwise with you guys?
Well, I'm still waiting. I think Friday will be the big day, and then we'll see.
Be'ezrat Hashem. Be'ezrat Hashem, please God. Be'ezrat Hashem, besorot tovot.
Amen.
Okay, I see that we're already running a bit late. I see that we're
No,
2 minutes.
it's 2 minutes past.
We just give it another few seconds until people will organize, and then we'll start the show.
Okay.
Just more minutes. Stephen, how are you, Stephen?
Baruch Hashem.
Family good? Good, good, good. Okay, Rabotai, let's start the show because those that not on time, otherwise we're going to get delayed. So בעזרת השם נעשה ונצליח, והשם עלינו ברחמיו ירוויח. השיעור יהיה לעילוי נשמת תמרה בת זהבה, אסתר קדם בת קציה, הרב אברהם חיים בן אליעזר יעקב, that's Rabbi Tenza, ולעילוי נשמת מרדכי בן רחמה, נשמתם תהיה צרורה בצור החיים, ולרפואת מנשה נג'י בן פרחה, ליאורה בת מרים, who else? חיה חפצי בבת שרה אימנו, הרב אברהם בן רינה, והרב שלמה יהודה בן דליה, דבורה בת אסתר, ליאורה בת מרים, וכל שאר חולי עמו ישראל בכל מקומות מושבותיהם. Okay, so רבותיי, I see that people starting to join. Giving me 1 more second. I'm just going to allow them. I'm just going to join them together. Okay, so we have a special guest with us tonight. It's Jonathan Brand. Jonathan Brand, thank you for joining us. If anyone doesn't know Jonathan Brand is optometrist. You need optometrist. I highly recommend him. Okay, Jonathan, thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you for the invite.
Pleasure. It's always nice to see new people with us. I'm sure that more people will join. Hello, Marky. How are you?
Hello, Rav. Baruch Hashem. Are you well?
Baruch Hashem. Okay, so we're going to start the show. בעזרת השם נעשה ונצליח, והשם עלינו ברחמיו ירוויח. I'm just going to mute everyone right now. And later on, if you have questions, I'm going to give time, if you don't mind. Okay. So as we advertise, we're going to speak today about Tu Bishvat. And let's see what we know about Tu Bishvat. On a pshat of the Dvarim, Hazal tell us in a Mishnah in Masechet Rosh Hashanah, in Perek Aleph, Mishnah Aleph, that means chapter 1, Mishnah 1, Hazal tell us, there we see that there is actually a mahloket between Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel. According to Bet Shammai tell us that Rosh Hashanah, that means the new year for the trees, when is it? on Aleph Shvat. Bet Hillel say in the 15 to Bishvat. From that we're learning halacha ke Bet Hillel. Why? Hazal explained there that the main reason that we always go according to Bet Hillel, for the simple reason, is because Mishum Shayu Anvetanim, there was humbles. Okay. Now we have to ask ourselves, why is it said Rosh Hashanah La'ilan? If you read the Mishnah, Rabota, if you're reading the Mishnah, it said that Aleph Shvat or Tu Bishvat, Rosh Hashanah La'ilan. What is the question here? And that question been asked by the Zohar HaKadosh. The Zohar HaKadosh asks, how come we see that it says Ilan in a single? Why not Ilanot? Ilanot is plural. And we know that there's many trees. There's all different kind of tree. There's pine tree. There's all different kind of tree. But if that's not enough, there's many fruit trees. So how come that the Torah tells us Ilan in singly? That's the question of the Zohar. And that Be'ezrat Hashem will try to answer now. But before we start with that, I would like to go a little bit back to the beginning. And we'll see what's happening in the beginning. Hazal tell us the main reason that we have to know Rosh Hashanah, according to the Pshat of the Dvarim, that when a person plants a tree, you have to know Dinei Orla. What is Dinei Orla? Dinei Orla is the law of the Orla. What is Orla? Orla, it means the law that the person have to understand. Number one, when can he eat from the fruit? When can he eat the fruit? What it means, when can he eat the fruit? We have to understand that Hazal tell us that not before 3 years. That means that the tree have to grow 3 years from the day that you planted, okay? And then you can benefit from the fruit. That's according to the Pshat of the Dvarim. But we explain that if it's 15 days before, if you plant it, we explained it one before. If you plant the tree, when we done the show about Orla, if you plant it 15 days before Tu Bishvat, you can eat it after 2.5 years, when the next Tu Bishvat comes. Okay, so what's happening here? Hazal tell us that the main reason that we have to know when is Rosh Hashanah, when we have to know the Dinei Orla, that before you eat it. That's and according to the Pshat of the Dvarim. But there is something very important about Tu Bishvat. Tu Bishvat is a special day, and today we're going to do a lot of what the mystical rabbis say. We'll try to learn what the Kabbalistic rabbi explain about the day. So the Zohar explain why that they call it Ilan and not Ilanot, we ask. Why they call the tree in plural, in single, and not in plural. So the Zohar explained, number one, that here we have to know that Yom Tu Bishvat, it's a day that HaKadosh Baruch Hu actually have mercy and compassion on us. It's a special day that in Tu Bishvat, Yemei Hamtakat Dinim. What it means, Yemei Hamtakat Dinim? It's a day that HaKadosh Baruch Hu sweeten the judgment on a human being. And we'll get to it just now. So you say, how does it work? How did you work it out? You say, I'm going to speak about Pshat now because I really don't understand the Zohar. You say that when you join the acronym of each letter, number one, Rashi Tevot, Sofei Tevot, okay, you'll see that there is holy name coming from it, that I don't understand those holy name. From that, Dafka on Tu Bishvat, there is HaKadosh Baruch Hu sweeten the judgment on every individual. I'll say every individual, and we'll see now. The Zohar continuing and explain, he said, why is it say, why is it say in singly? Because every person, lo alenu, every person, some people have Torahs, other people have different Torahs. We all have something to worry. Some people have a health problem, lo alenu. Some people have problem with parnasa. Some people battling to find a shidduch. Some, if it's a male or a female, it doesn't make a difference. Some people battling to have kids, even if they're married, lo alenu. He said that Tu Bishvat the Zohar says, listen to that, it's a day that every individual, HaKadosh have mercy and compassion on him, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu sweeten the judgment awards him. What does it mean? That if a person needs parnasa, a person needs kids, a person needs to find a husband or a wife, a person that needs refuah, that means health, and etc. It said that you're getting it when? Dafka on Tu Bishvat, said the Zohar. He said, how did you get for it? So the Zohar bring the pasuk in Sefer Dvarim. In Sefer Dvarim, the Torah tells us in chapter 20, verse 19, Ki ha'adam mu'etz hasadeh. A man is a tree in a field. That means that the Torah comparing the man to the tree. And we'll see just now, I'll get to it. We'll do the comparison to try to understand, and we'll link it together all. So we see from here that the Zohar say from that it say Ki ha'adam mu'etz hasadeh, ha'adam it's singly, Eitz it's singly. It's come to tell you that in Tu Bishvat, each human being, each person, receive what he need, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, if there is a judgment on that person, he actually sweeten the judgment on that person, on each one of us. Let's move on, and we'll see what other Divrei Hazal, that means what other rabbis saying. I'm going to bring now the Rabbi Tzadok HaKohen Miluvlin. Rabbi Tzadok HaKohen Miluvlin, born around 198 years ago in Poland. And he said something very interesting. He says sometimes people feel that they're like the empty tree. What does it mean, empty tree? Like a dry tree. That you don't see leaf on a tree. You don't see any fruit on a tree. Sometimes a person feel like he's really battling. Whatever he touch goes sour. Lo alenu. Whatever he do doesn't work. Lo alenu, if you want to find parnasa, he's battling. If you want to find a shidduch, he's battling. If he want to have kids, he has difficulty, lo alenu, and etc. Say Rabbi Tzadok HaKohen Miluvlin, Tu Bishvat come to teach us very important thing. Tu Bishvat come to teach us that number one, a person should never give up. Why? He said, look at the tree in Eretz Israel, because we counting according to Eretz Israel. Now in Eretz Israel is winter. The tree is empty. They hardly have leaves, never mind fruit, but leaves they hardly have. They look like they're dead. He said, Dafka now that the tree look like this, that's when actually everything starts growing. So if a person see that thing is difficult for him, that he's battling with parnasa, lo alenu, we have problem with health, he can't find a shidduch, battling with kids and etc. and have different sorts. Dafka on Tu Bishvat, that's the time that everything going to be changed. And we'll get to it just now, and we'll see how's it going to change. I'm going to link it all together. So we see from here that Rabbi Tzadok HaKohen Miluvlin say that Tu Bishvat is a special day. Why is it a special day? Because that's the beginning of the new creation. That Tu Bishvat, although that now it's look like everything's empty on a tree and a person feel like he's Shem Zach, nothing working for him, Dafka from that gonna come a salvation. That's how Rabbi Tzadok HaKohen Miluvlin explained. And he said why? Because Dafka on Tu Bishvat, the blessing, the prosperity, and the salvation come. And we'll see now, we're gonna link it. Although we have to ask ourselves how we link it for eating fruit, that it's a custom to eat fruit on Tu Bishvat. On a pshat of the Dvarim, Hazal say because it's Rosh Hashanah. What it means Rosh Hashanah? It's the new year for the trees, and the trees being judged. Rather eat fruit and say brocha on it. So yeah, on a pshat of the Dvarim, like you didn't steal. To say thank you to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because eating without a brocha considers stealing. Okay, that's on pshat of the Dvarim. But what's the remez here? there is remez here. Chazal tell us that when a person eats and he says brocha on a thing, he actually uplift that fruit. What does it mean, uplift that fruit? So now I'm going to do drash veremez. Chazal explain when a person eat from a fruit, and the Zohar explain that there is certain souls that HaKadosh Baruch Hu reincarnate them in a fruit. What does it mean? That they done certain averot, and their judgment is to become a fruit. That means the world of plantation. They can't talk, okay? They can't be alive because they're not living. It's not like an animal that live. They're like in a world of plantation. And that's all being reincarnated in a fruit. By that you're saying a brocha on that fruit, listen to that. What are you doing? You're uplifting that neshama that there is inside that fruit, and you actually giving it a chance to reincarnate itself. The same like happened in Tu Beshvat. The tree looked empty, but now it's reincarnating himself. He become alive. On a sword, there is something even deeper to it. The Zohar Kadosh and the mystical Rabbi explain that why are we eating dafka? Why is the secret by eating? What's the secret by eating? And eating fruit dafka, that's what we must ask. The mystical Rabbi explained like this. Adam HaRishon, when he sinned on the 6th day of the creation, just before Shabbos. Sha'a Asirit, Hazal say. What was the idea? Adam HaRishon eaten from the tree of knowledge. By that he eating from the tree of knowledge, until today we have all the Tzoros, Hazal explained. Come the mystical Rabbi and tell us, by that Adam HaRishon eat, by eating fruit from the tree of knowledge, how are you going to rectify it? How are you going to do the tikkun? How are you going to do atonement to that sin? By eating. Adam HaRishon sinned by eating, you're going to rectify by eating. What is the connection? And now I'm going to link it even to the Parsha. I'm going to jump to the Parsha because usually Tu Beshvat fall usually on Parashat Beshalach or Yitro, one of the two. But in Parashat Beshalach that we're going to learn tomorrow, we'll see something very interesting. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when he took Bnei Israel out of Eretz Mitzrayim, from the land of Egypt, he took them to the wilderness. After they arrive in a wilderness, Hazal tell us that they arrived to a place in the wilderness that called Mara. Mara, Hazal tell us that was there a well and water, but all the water there was bitter. And Hazal explained that the water that Bnei Israel actually took from them from Egypt, other explanation from the water of the sea of reeds, that the water becomes sweet. Okay, it's finished when they arrive in Mara, in a place that's called Mara in a wilderness. They start screaming. They're saying, Moshe Rabbeinu, please help us. We have no water. We're going to die. Moshe Rabbeinu lift up his eyes, daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. There it says, shout to HaKadosh Baruch Hu from excitement that Moshe Rabbeinu have so much mercy and compassion on Bnei Israel. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to him, why are you shouting? Why are you getting to panic? Moshe Rabbeinu, please, you see that stick next to you, that tree? Take that stick. Now we know that stick is bitter. If you bite the stick, usually it's bitter. HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to Moshe Rabbeinu, take that stick and throw it inside the water. If we look, it sounds strange, because in fact, if you take something water that they bitter, and you add more bitter into it, it will be bitterness. Nachon? Here HaKadosh Baruch Hu come to teach us something very important. By that you throw the stick that is bitter, suddenly the water becomes sweet. That was the mashal. What is the nimshal? It's come to tell us, Rabotai, that by that Adam HaRishon sinned and what? By eating from the tree of knowledge? on the same sin, we can rectify. The same tree that was bitter, that you throw it to a bitter water and become sweet, that's how we can sweet our judgment. How do we do that? By eating on Tu Bishvat fruit. Fruit that Eretz Israel nishtabha b'hem. Because in the Gemara there is a mahloket, what was the tree of knowledge? Some people say that it was Sa'ora, some people say it was a etrog, some people say it was te'ena, because Ale te'ena asalaim, that he made for them like a clothes that made from figs, okay? Other people say it's not at all, it was geffen, all different mahloket, but that's not for now. That's not the issue now. It's come to Chachmei Kabbalah come to teach us, the mystical rabbi, you know how you can rectify your sin? By that, with what you sin, that's how you're going to rectify. You sin with eating, you're going to rectify your sin by eating on Tu Bishvat. Why dafka Tu Bishvat? Because that's Rosh Hashanah La'ilanot. Because that's when all the trees get judged. We'll get to it just now with the halachot. I'm going to go through law and minhagim and custom that there is on Tu Bishvat. Rabbi Chaim Mitzan, you all heard about Rabbi Chaim Mitzan. Rabbi Chaim Mitzan is the famous Rabbi Chaim Hilberstein. He born in Poland around 224 years ago. And he says something extraordinary, and that will help us to understand everything. He said, if you take Tu Bishvat, from Tu Bishvat to Shavuot, if you work it out every 2 weeks, you have a Simcha day. How's it work? We know that today, tonight, and tomorrow is Tu Bishvat. 2 weeks from now, what's going to happen? Rosh Chodesh Adar. Mishenichnas Adar, marbim besimcha. Okay. 2 weeks later, what's coming? Purim. Beautiful. Everyone's happy. It's a day of atonement, Purim. Purim, Kapurim. That means the day of Purim in the level of Yom Kippur, it's almost the same. We can do the same atonement. 2 weeks later, after Purim, what's come, Rabotai? Rosh Chodesh Nisan. What's happened in Rosh Chodesh Nisan? We don't say Tahanun. We're not allowed to show any kind of sadness. Why? Because the Mishkan on Nisan, they inaugurate the Mishkan, the tabernacle. That means the Mishkan being inaugurated on Nisan. And then again, the same onwards, 2 weeks later, it's Pesach and onwards. Come and say, Rabbi Chaim Mitzan, something extraordinary. Every 2 weeks, if you work it out until Shavuot, you have a day of Simcha. That means, he said, listen to that carefully, that in Tu Bishvat, in the day of Tu Bishvat, the 15th of Shvat, actually the luck of the Jewish people is actually get open. What it means get open? That HaKadosh Baruch Hu now change our luck. We can change everything in our life. That means the key to it is when? On Tu Bishvat. That means we can change everything tonight and tomorrow by eating fruit, by saying brachot, by being happy. We can change everything in our life. And everything, the key is in our hand. At the beginning of the show, we say, Ki Adam hu etz hasadeh. What it means, Adam hu etz hasadeh? A human being is like the tree on the field. And what is the comparison between the two? And how does it work? And what's that have to do with Tu Bishvat? So on the Pshat of the Dvarim, Hazal tell us that if you look at a tree, what does a tree need? Water. To grow up, a tree needs water. Without water, it will die. Come Hazal and tell us the same a Jewish person. A Jewish person that wants to stay alive, you know what he needs? He needs water. Not only to drink water, he needs the Torah, because the Torah compared to a water, Hazal tell us. Hazal tell us the Torah is like a water. The same like a water, the nature of water to go down, The Torah teaches us to be humble. The Torah actually changed our life. And that's the comparison between a tree and a human being. Not only that, Hazal tell us that the same like the tree have to be connected to the earth, otherwise it can't grow. Without earth, he will die. A Jewish human being without connecting to the Torah is a dead person. And Hazal tell us, Rasha'im b'hayehim nikraim metim. I will translate. Tzadikim b'mitatam nikraim hayim. What is the comparison? Hazal tell us that people that they wicked, they're referring to Jewish people, obviously it can't be Gentile. If they, in their life, while they're alive, they consider as dead soul. Why? Because the soul is dead. But a tzaddik, a person that is a righteous, even that he's passed away and gone up to heaven, he's still alive. Why? Because we're still learning his Torah. We're still learning, and he's still learning up in heaven. He's sitting in Shamayim, in learning Torah from who? Mipi, from the mouth who, Mipi Misha Amar Vaya Olam, from a person, from the mouth that said Vayihi Olam, that created the world. So that's a tzaddik, that even that he passed away, is still alive. And that's the comparison Hazal tell us. A man have to be connected. Connected to what? To his Torah. Without Torah, he considered as a dead person. Okay. Hazal tell us that when we plant, if we take a spelling and we plant it on the ground, that spelling, that spelling that we planted, when he's growing, he need to grow straight. What it means he need to go straight? He need the support to go straight, that he wouldn't turn to the left or to the right. Why? Because if the tree grows to the left or to the right, it doesn't go straight and it doesn't bring nice fruit. Hazal come and tell us the same like the tree needed a support, a human being needed support when he grow up. After that, what's happening? He goes straight, he becomes strong. The next stage, he bringing beautiful buds, and after that, he bring beautiful flower. He says it's the same with the human being. When he born, he need a support. The parents, the teachers, the rabbi. After that, he learned Torah. When he learned Torah, he will become like a bud. But after that, when he gives the fruit, when he start growing and he know Torah, it's like he given fruit. And now he let other people benefit from it. The same like the tree that give fruit, we benefit from it. A Talmid Chacham benefit other people that they're learning from it. And that's the comparison between a tree and a human being. There's another thing that I mentioned at the beginning of the show, and I spoke about something very interesting. Why do we have to eat dry fruit, dafka on Tu Bishvat? And here's the connection, Rabotai. And I mentioned it at the beginning, but I'll explain it now better. When a person eats dry fruit, it's come to teach us, dafka on Tu Bishvat, that the person have to understand the same like the tree now empty in the northern hemisphere in Eretz Israel. They hardly have even leaves. They're empty. The same like the fruit that you're eating. But you have to understand that when you go into Shi'ur Torah, when a person go and listen to Shi'ur Torah, he look like an empty tree. And many people say, what? I have no to go now and sit and study. Yes, go and study, even if it's few words. Because en bet midrash bli hidush, Hazal tell us. There is no shi'ur that you're going to learn there without something new that you're going to learn, even if you know everything. Obviously, no one knows everything in it all. So it's come to tell you, by that you're eating fruit on Tu Bishvat, I don't know that you're starting going to shi'urim. It doesn't look that it's implanting on you anything. It doesn't show like you have anything on you at the moment. You don't see anything. But you have to understand, after 1, twice, 3 times, 6 months, a year, suddenly you see the changing in yourself. the change in yourself. The Torah gonna make you humble. The Torah gonna teach you how to behave. The Torah actually, Torat Hashem mahkimat peti. What it means mahkimat peti? That lo aleno, if a person, even if he's not smart, the less to say, the Torah make him smart. So the fruit that we're saying, we are like a dry fruit. We saying the brocha on a dry fruit on Tu Bishvat, it's the same like the tree empty in Eretz Israel. But in 6 months' time, after we learn Torah, after a year, we see the benefit. We start growing tree, we start growing leaf, and then the fruit come, and suddenly I know Torah. I can teach Torah, Baruch Hashem. And that's the comparison, to teach us that don't give up. That even if you think that now, at this moment, you cannot see or you cannot know anything about Torah, continue going to Shorei Torah, continue studying. In the end, you'll see the benefit. It's like a fruit that's coming from the tree. And that's the comparison. And with your permission, I would like to do one more thing with you, and then we go to the law of Tu Bishvat and the custom. I'm going to go now to Rabbi Chaim Vital. Rabbi Chaim Vital, it's the famous Maharhu. The Maharhu, he was the main student of Ari HaKadosh, Rabbi Yitzhak Luria Ashkenazi. The Maharhu born in Jerusalem 477 years ago. And he actually takes the fruit that's growing and he divides them to the 3 worlds. We know that there is 4 worlds. Arba olamot. Olam Abiyah, that it is, I will explain, I'm going to say it in Hebrew, then I will explain to English. Atzilut, Bria, Yetzira, Ve'asiyah. That's the 4th world. That means there's the world of nobility, that's the Atzilut, that's the highest level. Then below it come Olam Bria, that's the world of creation. Then come Olam Yetzira, the world of creativity. And then come Olam Asiyah, that's the world of action. And Rabbi Chaim Vital say, if you take, there's 3 different kind of fruit. Take those 3 kind of fruit and you can actually bring them to 3 different worlds. Not the world of nobility. The world of nobility is on a different level. He say, start from the lowest one, the world of action, Olam Asiyah. That's the lowest. That's where we are now. He said there's certain fruit that when you eat them, you, a matter of fact, you eat the inside, but the outside you throw away. For example, the banana, orange, pomegranate, and on and on. He compared those fruit to the world of action. He said that there is other fruit that it's exactly the opposite, that you eat the outside, but the inside you throw away. And that, for example, the dates, the apple, as you know, and olive, that you inside of it, the pips inside you throw away, but the outside you eat. He compared those fruit to the world of creativity. He said, but there is a higher level of fruit that you eat it completely. You don't throw nothing. That means that you eat the fruit incompletely, and he compared those fruit to the world of creation. What is those fruit? For example, to give you, we say that figs, the fruit figs, you eat it complete. There's nothing to throw. He say strawberry, for example, you eat it complete. Carob, you eat it complete. All the carob you eat complete. From here you learn, say, Rabbi Chaim Vital, that you have to understand that those 3 levels of in the world, it's also compared to the 3 levels of the fruit that there is in this world. I would like to move on, with your permission, to some halachot and minhagim, law and minhagim that we have, and we try to explain. And number 1, on Yom Tu Bishvat, And obviously today in Minha, all of you know that we didn't say Tahanun, because on Tu Bishvat, we're not allowed to say Tahanun, we're not allowed to fast, and not allowed Be'espedim, because it's a Yom Tov. Also, as you all know, to tell you who constitute all of that, also tomorrow we're not allowed to do it, that's Rabbeinu Gershon and Ma'ara Mirotenburg, Rabbi Meir Mirotenburg. They brought that minhag originally, that I saw. Also, we have to understand there's a different law, that the people that get married on Tu Bishvat, please God, a lot of brocha and atzlacha on Tu Bishvat, to those that get married. The Magen Avraham and most of the Aharonim say, because there is a custom, and that custom it's mainly for the Ashkenazi community, because the Sephardi, the groom never fast on a day of his wedding. Said the Magen Avraham, and most of the Aharonim agree to that, that on Tu Bishvat, even if the groom get married on Tu Bishvat, like tonight, he mustn't fast, or tomorrow, during the day. Can you believe it? It's amazing. Okay. Another law that it's brought, that on Leil Tu Bishvat, on the night of Tu Bishvat, it's good to put a plate on a table, okay, and to put fruit that the land of Eretz Israel been blessed by. For example, dates. We say te'enim. Te'enim is figs, pomegranate, if you can. Things that Eretz Israel nishtabha b'hem. For example, you have grapes, put it on the table and eat. Okay, that's minhag, by the way, brought by the Knesset Agdola. The Magen Avraham bring it, and who constituted, it's Bnei Yisachar. He constituted that minhag. Okay, now what's going to happen in a year, like for example, if Tu Bishvat fall on Shabbat, what a person should do? We have to know the halachot, because we know that Shabbat tadir sheno tadir, tadir kodem. What does it mean? Shabbat come more often, and he yesh lo mishpat habechora. That means he have the preference. Say Hazal, something extraordinary. Listen to that. So that mitzvah of Shabbat, we have 3 saudot that we obligated. So you must eat Saudat Shabbat. The Saudat Shabbat, you obligate to eat. He said, what then? How are we going to eat the fruit? He said, take those fruit that you wanted to eat, that Eretz Israel nishtabha b'hem, eat in the end of the meal, okay? And when you say Birkat HaMazon, you also yodeh hova of that fruit. That means one brocha can fulfill all of that. Amazing. That's on Shabbat, if it's fall on Shabbat. Okay. Now, there is a minhag. This is a minhag and this is a custom. A minhag on Tu Bishvat, to daven, to ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will send them a special etrog on Sukkot. When we buy the 4 species, that he will merit to have a beautiful etrog. Okay? Why? The Bnei Yisachar said that he bring that minhag, and he said, why dafka then? Because now in Tu Bishvat, Ha'ilan, we said that the Ilan get judged. The fruit tree get judged. How much fruit they're going to bring. What kind of fruit. How beautiful, how good fruit, how tasty fruit. He says, so now it's the time to daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Be'ezrat Hashem, that he will give him a beautiful etrog that he'll have for the 4 species in Sukkot. Okay. There is another beautiful minhag, and what to do on night of Tu Bishvat. And that minhag actually brought by the Magen Avraham and Kaf HaHaim. Kaf HaHaim is a book. They, just to give you a bit of explanation, that's Rabbi Yaakov Haim Sofer. It's a book of halachot. And the Magen Avraham and Kaf HaHaim bring that on Tu Bishvat, Leil Tu Bishvat, like tonight. Tonight is the night of Tu Bishvat. It's people should study in the Mishnah regarding the law of Tu Bishvat, that in Mishnah, obviously, Masechet Rosh Hashanah, there is speak. Also in the Zohar HaKadosh, there is certain law that speak about Tu Bishvat. Or any other book that speak about the law of Tu Bishvat, or to make a shiur about Tu Bishvat. It's a beautiful minhag to do that. There's a special secret behind it, but it's not for now. Also, there is another minhag to do on Tu Bishvat, especially on the night of Tu Bishvat. If you can find a fruit that you didn't eat, it's a new fruit for the season. I put the emphasis to say Shehiyanu on that Pri'a'etz, on those fruit. That means if you can find a fruit that you didn't eat this season, buy it and say Shehiyanu, obviously Bore Pri'a'etz, and then Shehiyanu v'kimanu v'gi'anu lazman hazeh. There is, it's a minhag to say it, it's a good minhag. There is spiritual thing behind it. So from here we see, number one, Rabotai, I would like to summarize and to conclude the show, that Yom Tu Bishvat is a special day. It's not just according to the Pshat, just to know the law of Orla after 3 years, when can I eat the fruit or not eat the fruit. Day of Tu Bishvat, it's a day that the judgment gets sweetened to each one individually. And that's what it says. Rosh Hashanah La'ilan. What it means, Rosh Hashanah La'ilan? The New Year's, in singly, for the fruit tree. It doesn't say fruits, trees, it said fruit tree, and singly. Why? Because each one of us on Tu Bishvat get sweetened the judgment against us. That means we all sin. En Adam, en tzaddik ba'aretz she'aseh tov ve'lo yachta. There is no such thing that there is a righteous man in this world and not going to sin. HaKadosh Baruch Hu sweeten all our judgment. It all depends on us. Number two, what is come to teach us? It's come to teach us something very important. It's come to teach us Yom Tu Bishvat, that we never give up. The same like the tree is empty, no leaves, no fruit. Even if time difficult for you, never give up. Because after every downhill, there is an uphill. It's come to teach us to never to give up. Not only that we say brachot on a dry fruit to teach us that from that, something new gonna come. Good things gonna come. And according to the sword, if we're going according to the sword, we actually, all the secret of Tu Bishvat, it's to rectify the sin of, what sin? Rabotai, Adam HaRishon. The sin of Adam HaRishon that eaten from Eitz Hadat, from the tree of knowledge, okay? We're rectifying now in Tu Bishvat by eating fruit. And that's the major key that we have to remember. Because all the tzoros that we have in the world today is because had Adam HaRishon. And Hazal actually, there, the Mekubalim explain how that work, just to show you quick, and with that, I'm not going to go into depth. By that Adam HaRishon eat from the tree of knowledge, he sinned by the worst 3 sins. Murder, that's why we have death in the world, because before that, no one was supposed to die. Then you have Avodah Zarah, idol worshipping. What it means, idol worshipping? By that Adam HaRishon didn't listen to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's worship idol. He eaten from the tree of knowledge. He listened to Hava and the snake, because the snake changed. Then, lo aleinu, there is another sin, idolatry. How does that compare? By that we were supposed to live forever, that our soul will never die, because we couldn't wait a little bit and we eat him from the tree of knowledge. We took something that not belonged to us. Has v'shalom, comparing to committing idolatry. That we took something that belonged to someone else. Coveting. And that's the comparison. So all our job on Tu Bishvat, the main job according to the mystical Rabbi, to rectify the sin of Adam HaRishon. Be'ezrat Hashem, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will bless us and merit us to rectify all of that sin and send us Mashiach Tzidkenu speedily in our day. Now for questions, anyone you want to ask, mute the speaker. Then you
Hello, it's Anthony here. How are you?
Baruch Hashem, Anthony, how are you?
Right, thanks. Is it a mitzvah for all Jews to plant a tree on Tu Bishvat, to plant a tree? Is it a mitzvah for all Jews to plant a tree or only some Jews?
Why some Jews? What's the difference between Chaim Yankel or between Chaim Shmer? What's the difference? He's not a human being. Just want to understand the question. What's the question, Anthony? Because Chaim Yankel, he's a different Jew. He's different Jew.
Yes, I see. So,
No, just want to understand, because according to Hitler, he didn't make any difference between if you Sephardi, you Ashkenazi, you Yeke. I don't think that you have any difference. A Jew is a Jew. So there's no such thing. We all Jews, we all the children of Baruch Hu. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu love us. These people making that separation, that is this Jew wearing this yami, this Jew wearing. HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't have it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu love everyone. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu say in Sefer Vayikra, and Rabbi Akiva bring it, Ve'ahavta le'ra'acha kamocha. Rabbi Akiva didn't say different Jew. The Torah in Sefer Vayikra didn't say Ve'ahavta le'ra'acha kamocha, certain Jews and we all one nation. We all one army. We nation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu and we army of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The color, the different ideas we put aside. This is minhag. We all should be one heart, one Jew for the sake of heaven. Okay, now for the second question, the main question, to plant. To plant tree, there's nowhere that it's not a mitzvah. I didn't see anywhere that it's written. It's but more important to eat and to do the right that you do. Okay, Anthony?
yes. Thanks very much.
Pleasure. Okay, anyone else ask? Is any other question? No? Okay. If there is no more question, Rabotai, I hope to see you tomorrow at 8 o'clock. We do our shiur in Parashat HaShavua and Parashat Beshalach, and we see what's so special in Parashat Beshalach. It's one of my favorite parshiot that there is in the Torah. I love it. It's not my bar mitzvah parsha, but I still love it. There is a secret on this Shabbos. And tomorrow, Rabotai, I really recommend come to the show and listen what to prepare for Shabbat, because there is a segula. Segula is a remedy. What to do in honor of Shabbat if you want a good parnasa. It's good for have some guilt. So Be'ezrat Hashem, Rabotai, I would like to wish all of you a good evening, a safe evening. Look after yourself, and Be'ezrat Hashem, we'll see you all tomorrow. Once again, a special welcome to our friend Jonathan Brain. Thank you for joining us, Jonathan. I hope that you enjoy it. I hope to see you again tomorrow. And wish you all a good night, a safe night. Keep well, all the best. Any question or anything before we finishing the show?
Thank you for the share, Rabbi. Appreciate it. And the welcome.
All the best. Hope to see you again tomorrow. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
All the best. Bye. Call to.
Bye.